So no one really wants to go back to school, but if it's an excuse to buy a shiny new laptop, then maybe it's not all bad. So I've rounded up 5 of my favorite laptops perfect for going back to school, college, or university, and I've put links to all of them in the description below. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button and tap that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. So let's kick off with the Dell XPS 13. I'm just going to say that I think this is probably the best laptop you can buy. I've got the new Alpine White model here, although it still comes in the traditional black and silver color with those carbon fiber palm rests. You get a super compact design thanks to those thin bezels around the 13-inch Full HD screen. It's got solid performance with the latest Intel 8th generation quad-core i5 and i7 processors, and even the cheapest model with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage is good enough for most people. It's got a great range of ports, 12 hours of battery life, and at just 1.2 kilograms, you'll barely feel this in your backpack. Not cheap then, this is definitely a premium ultrabook, and it won't be powerful enough for gaming. If you do need more horsepower, step up to the 2018 XPS 15, which comes with a GTX 1050 Ti Max-Q graphics card and faster 6-core processors. Although of course the trade-off is it's heavier and more expensive, so if you're just writing essays and watching Netflix, stick with the XPS 13. Now if the Dell looks good, but it's a little out of your price range, the Asus Swift 3 is a great option, and with the same specs as the entry-level XPS 13, the Swift 3 costs £650. I would avoid the even cheaper base model with an i3 processor and meager 4 gigs of RAM unless you're on a really tight budget, and go for the i5 with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 storage. And again, if you need a little bit more power or you might want to do some light gaming, maybe some Fortnite on medium settings, you can get the Swift 3 with the MX150 graphics card for £750. At 1.8 kilograms, the Swift 3 is on the heavier side, although it does have a slightly bigger 14-inch screen versus the Dell. The bezels are also pretty chunky, the battery life isn't quite as long at about 6 to 7 hours, but it's still a really smart looking laptop and I think offers incredible value for money. I'd highly recommend it. Alternatively, the 2-in-1 Lenovo Yoga 730 is definitely worth considering and is similar money. Now I think we can all agree that MacBooks and MacBook Pros aren't exactly great value for money, but there's also no denying that they are beautiful machines and lovely to use. Especially if you're used to using macOS rather than Windows, or there's certain Mac programs you use like Final Cut Pro. Apple have refreshed their MacBook Pro 13 and 15 lineup for 2018. They now come with True Tone displays and faster 8th gen processors. Although this does only apply to the more expensive MacBook Pro 13 with Touch Bar and the 15-inch models. But the extra multi-core performance will definitely be useful for video editing, rendering, and even a bit of gaming. If you don't need the extra power, you can still stick with the regular non-touch 13-inch MacBook Pro, which starts from £1,250, and is probably the best value option for students. I would definitely avoid the MacBook Air though. It is cheaper, but it's outdated in pretty much every way. Go for the MacBook instead if you want a super thin and light laptop with macOS. It's not particularly powerful though, so it's only really good for basic tasks. No back-to-school laptop buying guide would be complete without a Chromebook. These are incredibly popular with students for being cheap, fast, and easy to use. You've got loads of options, including high-end premium Chromebooks like the £1,000 Google Pixelbook. But honestly though, the best thing about Chromebooks is they're cheap and cheerful. And right now, I would buy the Acer Chromebook 14, which is just £220 on Amazon right now. Although I would pay a little bit extra and get it with 4 gigs of RAM and a sharper Full HD screen. This is ideal for basic work stuff, Google Docs, emails, watching YouTube and Netflix. For most students, this is all you really need, and you can't argue with the price. But remember, this is running Chrome OS rather than Windows, and you're using mostly cloud-based apps. And finally, at number 5, well, actually this was a really hard decision. I was going back and forth on a few different options for what would take the final spot in this roundup. I was really close to including the Huawei MateBook X Pro, which is my go-to travel laptop and honestly one of 2018's most underrated thin and light laptops. The only major issue is it's just not available everywhere. You'll struggle to find it in the UK, but if you can, it's definitely worth considering. So at number 5, I'm going with the Microsoft Surface Book 2, particularly the 13.5-inch model, which starts at £1,150, although students and teachers can get 10% off. If you can, pay a little bit more and get the i7 model, as this is a newer 8th gen processor versus the cheaper i5, which is one of last year's chips. Plus it comes with Nvidia's 1050 graphics card and twice the storage of the base model. So the Surface Book 2 is a high-end Windows laptop, but its main party trick is its fully detachable touchscreen tablet. It's not the thinnest or the lightest laptop, and it's certainly not cheap, but if you want a high-end machine that's as nice to use as a laptop as it is a tablet, then I definitely recommend it. If you are on a tighter budget though, or want something more portable, Microsoft have just launched the Surface Go, a 10-inch Windows 10 tablet starting at just £380. Add the type cover keyboard for another $100, and you've got a great little iPad Pro rival, except this has full Windows 10, a Pentium Gold processor, and a USB-C port. Of course, there are loads of other laptops to choose from, but those are my top 5, and I've put links to every laptop I've mentioned in the description below if you want to go and check those out. And if you are going back to school in September, or maybe you know someone who is, do let me know in the comments below what laptop they're taking with them, and if they're going to buy a new one, what they're considering. Do let me know. If you did enjoy this video, then maybe you wouldn't mind clicking that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more of my videos. And I'll see you guys next time right here on the Tech Chat. On the Tech Chat. It says right there. Tech Chat. I need to get more of these. Ooh. Why do I have a Stormtrooper gun in my... See you next time.